Who's going to cut Aaron Rodgers? Who's going to cut Tom Brady? When you're a nobody, I think you got to have some more courage, knowing that you're literally putting your livelihood in the way.
Same situation going on with the vaccine. Tom Brady and professional sports, because of social media, because of people's brand building, blah, blah, Tom Brady doesn't want to get involved. And so he, with $1 billion, a wife that's worth just as much as him, all the accomplishments in a sport that man could have, he sits there silently, and it annoys me. I like the guy, I respect what he's done, but damn it, he should man up here and say what he really thinks about the vaccine. And I know Aaron Rodgers was forced into having to say what he believes about the vaccine, but at least he said it and articulated it in a sincere fashion. At least Kyrie Irving has taken a stance, but most of these other athletes are a bunch of cowards, and I just don't enjoy sports the way that I used to, because I don't respect these athletes the way I used to think sports made men more courageous, and now I look at it and say it makes them cowards. And I see it in college sports, I see it in professional sports. I could go on for days why this hits me so hard, and so I want to stop there because there's more I could say, but anyway, I want your reaction to that.
I was all teed up to disagree with you, and I think you've convinced me, because specifically it has something to do and it affects him. So where I was teed up to disagree with you was I have been under the impression for at least the last 5 years, probably closer to 10, that it actually takes more courage to stay out of it when the crazy liberal media is trying to bring you into everything. There was a poll done on the Big Lead several years ago where it found that 96% of sports writers are Democrats. They're all liberals, okay? And we're all aware of this, having watched ESPN and Fox Sports and such. And so they are constantly trying to bring you into some sort of political divide all the time. They want every person to be LeBron James telling Daryl Morey he doesn't know what he's talking about, and that we should all just worship China. That's what every writer wants over at ESPN. But where you convinced me is that I think having to do it yourself in a world now that is changing, the draft, okay, could have easily changed the lives of Muhammad Ali's family if he goes over to Vietnam and is killed, right? The vaccine mandates, if something were to happen to Tom Brady, he's somebody who treats his body as though it is a Greek god. He then, if something were to happen, would be putting the rest of his family at risk with Tom Brady not being there. We're seeing that. I would have hoped that guys like you and me, neither of us had long careers in the NFL, but I hope, now I'm 31 years old, I hope I would have had the courage to do what you're suggesting, because I do now, but what do I have to lose? I hope I would have had the courage to do the same research that I've done with the vaccine stuff. I've come out, it's not a super popular thing to do. I have come out and I told you, I think it was the first day I was ever on the show, I have chosen not to get the vaccine, and here are the reasons why. I would have hoped, because there is a guy, now I don't think he's done a very good job articulating it, but there is a guy who has come out, he plays for the Bills, Cole Beasley, a longtime Packers wide receiver. He has come out and had some courage. I hope, and I'll never be able to know, not having the millions of dollars waved in front of my face, I hope I would have had the courage to be that guy, because I do think it affects our world. I do think it affects our families. And overall, I think it affects the trajectory of our country. Joe Rogan had a good line when he was on with Dr. Marone. He said, I think we're at a 45-degree angle as a country, aimed downward into the ground in a hurry, and we've got to figure out a way to stop it.
So why would you go to Cole Beasley, which I don't have any problem with, because Cole Beasley was out on front on this early. But Aaron Rodgers is right there right now and won't back down, and I know he was forced. He's having an MVP type season. His team just secured the #1 spot in the NFC in the postseason. So he's having success. Might win his second consecutive MVP season while taking on the woke mob over the vaccine mandate. He's showing a pair. Why won't Tom Brady?
Aaron's showing a pair after the fact, which I'm still all for you showing a pair. But he's showing a pair after the fact. The reason I brought up Cole Beasley is because he has flipped the double bird to everybody from day one and said, you people are nuts. And he's doing it in New York. Okay, that's not the place where he can't walk into a restaurant up there where he's making millions of dollars to play football and they won't allow him into a restaurant because he's not vaccinated. He's got some balls and he was willing to show them from day one. I'm all for Aaron Rodgers, okay, and everything that he's done. And I think now, once his hand was forced, then he stood up like a man and said, I'll fight this with everything I've got. I'm good with that. And I think that's great, and we should get on the bandwagon. We'll get to Tom. I do think there's something to be said for the guy who was willing to stand up alone that doesn't have the big name notoriety. If you cut Cole Beasley today, everybody would shrug. All right, it's just, look, he's a good little slot receiver, the dime a dozen. He was pretty good. It is what it is. I think that takes more courage, honestly, than doing it as the MVP of the league. I mean, who's going to cut Aaron Rodgers? Who's going to cut Tom Brady? When you're a nobody, I think you got to have some more courage, knowing that you're literally putting your livelihood in the way.